Hello, St. Patrick's and friends of St. Patrick's. It really feels like spring is here, so I'm really pumped and jazzed about that. We are studying in a couple areas of our church some things about Jesus and about the church that I think are pretty profound and interesting. In the Gospel of Mark, the men are going through this in the Bible studies. We notice this trend of Jesus that it says he immediately and then whatever. And he displays this kind of man of action idea. And yet there's this really famous line in Mark chapter 1 that talks about what he used to do. It says in verse 35, "And rising very early in the morning, while it was still dark, he departed and went out to a desolate place, and there he prayed." Even though Jesus was a man of action, and there are a lot of immediatelys in the gospel, he is taking the time to pray. And then, of course, you read all throughout Mark and Matthew and the other Gospels about how he walked everywhere, which also ties into what we've been doing at pastorates. We're watching and studying these Godspeed videos. And it really strikes a chord with me and the staff about the slowness of it and the intentionality of building community. What we're doing at St. Patrick's, this building of a community of believers, is primary. Let me put it this way. It's a primary outpouring or natural consequence of gathering for worship around Jesus. We lead with worship, of course, but in the process, we are building a community of believers to do that. And that's the light that is given to the world that we want people to see. And the irony here, or maybe the paradox of all of this, is that the building of our community is the draw for other people. But building community takes time. It can't be done right away. And I actually challenged our pastorate last week to get busy about building community. I even said this. I said, how can we fast track the building of community in our church? So I mentioned this to Jake and Chuck this morning in a staff meeting. Jake said something I thought was really, really good, and I want to share it with you. He said, in order to fast track community, we actually have to slow down everything else in our lives. And I thought, that's it. We have to slow down everything else in our lives. What I want to challenge you and the rest of the church to think about is, one, what ways can we fast track our community building? Spending time together, building intimacy and accountability with one another. But also, in order to do that, what are the things in your life that you have spent so much time doing that are in the way of this community building of our church, that might even be wasteful if you took the time to look at it? And I don't know, I'm not asking you to sacrifice good things, or maybe I am. Maybe sometimes we have to sacrifice good things to choose the better things. So just a word of thought and consideration to meditate upon this week and the coming weeks is like, how do we fast track this? What do we need to slow down? What do we need to sacrifice in order to see God's work being done by building a community of believers I think we all hope to be at St. Patrick's? Anyway, I hope to see you this Sunday. We're continuing on in the Old Testament series. We're in Genesis once again. You won't want to miss it. God bless you all. Bye-bye.